So hi, once again, my name is Chris Turner, and I designed and developed this training course. As a start off, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about step one, strategy deployment. The original Japanese term for strategy deployment was Hoshin Kanri. So what does Hoshin Kanri really mean? It basically means direction or alignment of an organization. And that's there's different variations of it, meaning compass needle, organization alignment, etc. But in a nutshell, it really means to align an organization. And why would we want to do this? Well, the reason being is that every organization really needs to get everybody focused on the same goals and objectives. So why would they do that? Well, you can't have people in an organization working at odds with each other. I know that typically happens in a lot of organizations, but that's the reason why strategy deployment is so important. It's kind of like going on a journey. If you were going to make a trip from wherever you live to a given destination, you would do some research and you would actually create a roadmap, and you would know that you were going to go in an hour's time, you're going to reach this place, and you would need gas at this place, and after so many hours you would need to find a hotel and sleep for the night, and then so on and so on. So there'd be things that you would need to know, and there would be planning that would take place in order to make your trip a more enjoyable experience, instead of you not doing any of that and ending up getting lost and probably never reaching your destination. What strategy deployment does for any organization, it really does two things. One is it says to them, okay, where do you need to be? What should your organization look like under the ideal situation that you're trying to aim for? So let's give you an example. If you're an organization and you make revenues of maybe $15 million and you want to become a $25 million organization, well, what are you going to do? You can't just turn all the salespeople and say go out and find more customers. That's just not the right thing to do, because if you get all those customers, you've got to be able to support that. You've got to have the infrastructure to support those extra customers. So there's a lot of internal stuff that has to happen, plus there's a lot of external stuff that has to happen. So how do we tie all that together? Well, strategy deployment is a way that we do that. So the executive committee or management team would look at their organization and say, we want to be a $25 million organization. So in order to get from 15 to 25 million, what do we have to do? What capabilities do we need to learn, or what do we need to improve in our organization? And then they would identify the key areas of their organization where they would need to make those improvements. So strategy deployment really focuses you in, kind of like a laser beam, into those areas. And then we would go through different layers of the structure. Now, one of the important things is that you're working at a very strategic level. That's a high level of the organization, as in the executive team. So we've got to be able to transfer that information, that communication, and we've got to be able to take it down through the organization and bring it down into, if it's a manufacturing facility, to the shop floor. If it's an administrative organization, such as medical billing or something like that, we've got to be able to take it down into the desks of the people in the offices that actually perform the job. And if it's a healthcare facility, for instance, we've got to be able to take it down to the patient level and know that whatever is said at the executive level can transfer into activity down at that level. So we're moving from a strategic to a tactical level. And that's what strategy deployment really does. That's why it's so important. So what happens if a company doesn't do this? Well, if they don't do it, what happens is it's kind of like shooting a target in the dark. You can kind of know whereabouts it is, and sometimes you're going to hit it, but most of the times you're not. So it's like the road trip again. If you don't plan for it, you're probably never going to get there. You're going to end up somewhere else. So that's what strategy deployment does, and that's why it's so important. So this is why it's step one in the 10-step model. Anyway, enjoy the training. I hope you learn lots from it, and I'd really appreciate your feedback.